There we go, camera. All right, we'll start off with Chris Bassinet.
Hey, Will, do you guys, as coaches or as coaching staff, take a little different approach to all to how your guys approach this week mentally, just with finals week, long road trip, all those kind of maybe different factors that go into it?
Well, this week is always a little bit different because of finals, just with the schedules of the tests and those type of things. And we did have an additional day off this week to give them some time that way. And you have to have those throughout the year anyway, just per the NCAA rules. You got to have the additional days off. But we usually end up taking one of those days during finals week just because of the scheduling and those type of things. And this morning we'll actually practice. And then we'll have an afternoon practice tomorrow. That's just kind of what's worked out best with the schedules of the tests, and the Salt Dogs are in town now as well. So just this week presents a little bit of a different look because of the finals and those type of things, and then obviously this week as well because we're not leaving until Friday, traveling on Friday and playing on Saturday.
From what you've seen, and maybe you haven't seen a lot of the guys yet, but have you seen them kind of, bounce back all right, just from an attitude standpoint and all those sorts of things so far?
Yeah, I've had some guys come stop in and visit on Monday. I think everyone recognizes that Sunday was just not, that wasn't our team. It wasn't who we've been all year long. And obviously the first 2 days were very disappointing, but it wasn't like we didn't show up ready to compete. We just didn't finish the games off. So, we got a lot of pride on the team, a lot of guys that are incredibly hungry to win. They understand, that we got to bounce back, and we haven't all been together yet until this morning. So I look forward to getting everybody together and getting back out there and just get ready to get after it again this week. But I don't worry about this group in terms of being ready to bounce back, being ready to come out and do what it takes, do what's necessary to win. I think our leaders, our captains on this team are going to help get the team in the right spot, and that starts with a great practice today.
Evan Bland.
Hey, Will, you said before that you like Jake Buns out of the bullpen, and it's been a while since you've had these 4-game weekend series. What are you looking at maybe as that potential fourth starter, or at least what are the options here for the weekend?
Yeah, I think that's just going to be a bit up in the air this week. I think you've got Buns and you've got Cody Frank, who would be more than capable fourth starters for this weekend. I think the way we're going to approach it is we know that Cade's going to throw the first game, and from there we're just going to kind of maybe mix and match the order of the other two. And then I would imagine probably for Monday's game, it'll just be TBA. We'll just kind of keep it open-ended. I don't want to pigeonhole ourselves into, not using a guy the first 3 games that we feel like could help us win. If we got to use all hands on deck to help us win the first 3 games, we'll do that. And then if Monday's got to be a bullpen day, we'll do that. So I think we've got enough capable guys that can go out there and give you 3 to 6 outs at times. So Cody's been really good out of the bullpen. Buns has been really good out of the bullpen. If we've got a lead late and, we got to go win, that's what we're going to do. And then we'll reassess as the weekend goes along.
Kind of building on that, you guys have talked before about the importance of those midweeks and guys in the past like Ethan Bradford who've gotten chances on the weekends based on that. But with a 4-gamer coming up, who are some other guys, based on those midweeks who might have a chance this weekend if the opportunity arises?
Yeah, I mean, you've got several guys there that haven't gotten a ton of opportunities, and we'll have a 5-inning scrimmage today to give ourselves another look at some things. I mean, Hallmark probably has a great opportunity to get back in there and pitch. I mean, honestly, on Sunday, if we had gotten to that point, he was going to probably close with Spencer being out, and if we had used Buns earlier in the game, we probably would have closed Hallmark. So we'll have him throw to live hitters today. He's a guy that's going to factor in. Like you said, Bradford, Feakin, I guess he got a couple of opportunities on the weekend, but he's another guy that we feel like is an important part of our staff. Emmett Olson is a guy that has had some bright spots earlier this season that hasn't seen himself back out there a ton, but he's a guy that has performed well in some of those spots as well. So we've got like I said, we've got some guys that maybe haven't thrown a ton that we feel confident in that can at least go give us 3 outs and then hand it to the next guy. So we'll see a little bit more of that today in the 5-inning scrimmage, and then we'll just go from there.
Michael Bruns?
Well, you mentioned kind of I guess it was Sunday. You kind of talked about, guys maybe not playing that, getting it to the next guy type approach with the lineup. I mean, I guess how do you kind of get back to that? Because it just seems like you've got a few guys at the top of the lineup right now that all are kind of scuffling at the same time.
Yeah, that's baseball is contagious that way. I mean, it is just, it's crazy the psychology that goes into it with, you got a couple guys on the barrel and everybody feels like they're going to get on the barrel and they're going to hit it hard. And then you've got a couple guys that are scuffling, and then, all of a sudden you look up and go, man, there's several guys that just aren't going real good right now. So that's, as long as I've been around the game, as long as I've followed the game, that's the way hitting is. And that's why you can't, in my opinion, you can't always bank on just outscoring people. You've got to find a way to get things done in other ways, pitching, defense, base running. Again, that's why we really keep track of a lot of those plays that, a lot of people don't think are flashy, but we think are really important for team baseball. And so, I just think it's the reason that we have the offensive system that we have, where they have a defined role, is, it's always the adage of, man, I'm just trying to do too much. It's so you don't get in that mode very often. And that's a little bit of where I see some guys right now. It's they're chasing the ghost of their past success a little bit, where they're worried about, their numbers all of a sudden for the first time all year. And I don't think it's something that's conscious necessarily, or something that is an outward selfish, motivated thing on their end. I think it's just human nature at times, where you've had some success and then you have to live up to those expectations all of a sudden, and you start worrying about it. And I think we just need to get back to knowing what our role is and going and executing that role. And each and every guy in the lineup does that, then you have a team offense. So long answer there for you, but that's the way I see it.
Thanks.
Kevin Suits?
Will, with this pod this week, and you get another crack at Rutgers with 2 games, how excited are your guys to turn right around and face them again here this upcoming weekend?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a big challenge ahead, as we know, going into this weekend, facing the first place team in Indiana and the challenges that they present. We just saw Rutgers, as you alluded to, and we know how good a team they have, how mentally tough they are, and how talented they are and well coached. So again, it's just a great opportunity to get back out there and, show what we're made of, because we've been a very good team up to this point. I think if you'd ask anybody in the clubhouse if they take a 20-10 record through 30 games in the season, I think we'd all had, before the season, signed up for that. And that means we're right in the thick of things here. So all the ball's right there in front of us. We're excited about the chance this weekend to go and bounce back and play our level of baseball.
Also wanted to ask about Griffin Everett and what he brings to your team. I guess if you go back to before the season started, what did you see out of him that gave you confidence in his production behind the plate? And then obviously he's maintained some of that too.
Yeah, coming in, from junior college, we had kind of targeted him as a very a defensive-minded catcher in terms of just being able to receive and block and throw, and his arm has been a real weapon for us back there. I think what we've seen him do too is he's just really stepped up his game once the games have started. I think he probably had a little bit of a learning curve coming in, catching guys with more velocity, movement, those type of things, the speed of the game. But what we've seen from him is once the games have started, he's really settled in and just been a real nice presence back there for us behind the plate, just blocking balls, just stealing strikes at times. I think that's a big part of it, and a big part of the success that our pitching staff has had this year at times is that Luke has really improved behind the plate as well. Roscom and Everett is has done a great job at handling the staff and stealing some strikes back there, keeping balls from getting to the backstop, and just throwing guys out, throwing strikes to second base when he needs to. So he's definitely been that, and then some. It's good to see the bat starting to come along. Early on with him, he was hitting balls hard. He probably lined out 7 or 8 times in the first 2 weekends with nothing to show for it. Not even a cheap hit in there to make up for it. And now he's starting to get it going a little bit better offensively, which we thought, would come with him as well.
All right, last one, Coach Bolt, Evan Bland.
Well, I just wanted to ask, now that you guys are in the home stretch here of the regular season, do you guys have you identified players who will definitely redshirt, or at least in the conversation for that at this point?
Yeah, I think once we started getting into it, we just didn't know what to expect with only playing games on the weekend. If there would be more injuries because of that, if there would be COVID issues, which obviously that could still happen up to this point. Hopefully it doesn't, but we just weren't sure what it was going to present. So that's why we needed to make sure that every single guy, even there were guys that we thought would be redshirt candidates, we were going to be willing to play if need be. So yeah, there's definitely some guys in there that I feel like could probably at least push to play right now. That we're just kind of holding on a little bit to their red shirts. Garrett England's probably one of those guys that I feel like he's started to step up in the live at bats, and he gives a great effort every day, day in and day out, in the outfield, running balls down, and those type of things. But you start to get to a certain point of the season when there's no game action, and then you start to, you want to protect the red shirt that way if you can. And there's a couple other guys probably in that category as well. This year with no Tuesday games, it just makes it way different than what it ever is, that way. So you just don't get that experience that you normally would. But those type of guys that maybe don't get at bats on the weekend, we're probably coming up on about 30 to 35 live at bats now for the Tuesday, Wednesday games that we play. So those are very valuable, as I mentioned before. But yeah, there's some guys in there that I feel like could probably get in there and push at times to play. But at the same time, there's maybe a lot of veterans in front, a lot of guys maybe that we just need to get going in front of them and protect the red shirt in the meantime.
And specifically for a guy like Kyle Perry, I'm sure you guys believe he could help you down the stretch this year, but he would have, I'm sure, value too as a starter down the road. How tough is that conversation to kind of figure out maybe what the best course is for him?
Yeah, with him, if he's going to throw today, he'll throw to hitters today. If he's feeling good and he looks good, he's going to factor in to help this team this year. I think that's been pretty well decided on our end, on his end, that if he's feeling good and healthy and he's capable from a physical standpoint, he wants to pitch this year, and we want him to pitch this year. So what that looks like, we'll find out today, and we'll just go from there.
All right, thanks everybody.